it true that sellers can't be choosers?
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together with the Decker team.
We're welcoming you back to another episode of the Inside Track. I'm Yetta Decker.
And I'm Ken Decker.
And we're so excited to be with you because we get to share top techniques, thoughts, that's the word put together, techniques, thoughts, and tools that we all deserve, we all need. You, I, everyone, to turn our house and home where our families thrive and we live the best life possible. And the best life possible means sellers get to choose whether or not they sell.
Right. Well, they also get to choose how they sell.
Exactly.
Who they sell with. And really whether they buy their own property back.
Right. Isn't that an interesting concept? Buying your own property back. What?
Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit.
Okay.
Got to save that for a little bit.
Save that for a little bit. All right. So how people get to sell, it's all about choice today, right? Not only have we changed the way of doing real estate, that happened a little while ago, as you well know, the whole industry and how we go about it has changed the method, except how, in terms of the services available, that really has not changed for quite some time.
No, that's true.
Right? And so what are the hows in terms of full service?
Yeah, I mean, how you could sell it yourself.
Right.
Right? And there's some advantages and disadvantages to that. You could have a limited service company, one where they throw some ads up for you, but they really don't serve you.
And don't represent wholly, and they don't counsel or coach or guide or provide options.
Right.
They're more provide packages.
Yes. And usually they're a pay up front kind of thing, because whether they do the job satisfactory or not, they get paid in advance.
Right.
And then there are companies that have a limited amount of service. And then there are companies like ours, which is a full service fiduciary company.
Okay, now fiduciary, that's a big word.
It
I
is.
did learn it over 30 years ago in the real estate industry. Before that, I don't know that I fully understood the meaning of fiduciary. So shall we go spend a minute on that?
Sure. Fiduciary basically means you owe a level of competency, you owe a level of confidentiality, you owe a level of representation that you, with the knowledge you have as a professional, would care for your client like they would care for themselves if they had that same level of knowledge
or experience.
How was that?
That was pretty good. So in layman terms, it means we have to, as professionals in the industry, if we're providing fiduciary duty or responsibility, we have to do what is in your sole and absolute best interest.
Yes.
I find it interesting. Sometimes a client will say to me, if you sell the house for more, the great news is we get more money. And the great news is you get more money because you've sold the house for more. And it's an interesting thought. Yes, that's true. Like in theory, that's true. And
the opposite, I just had a thought. Sorry to interrupt you.
Can I just finish my thought?
No.
Okay. No, I can't. His is better than mine today.
So if that's the case, that they think that we want to sell it for more because we'd make more money, what's that say about the case where someone's selling it for a flat fee, who they're not giving any service, they're just putting it out there to market it, their collector fee in advance, they don't really care how much they sell it for because they're not affected.
Right. And having said that, I long ago let go of doing that calculation because my first and primary and really only responsibility is taking care of the client that's hired me in a full service capacity to serve them.
Absolutely.
And then when I do that, the amazing news is I automatically get a paycheck when I produce the result that my client's looking for.
Yeah, we're results paid.
Results paid. And so there's some huge huge advantage, and yet you as a seller get to choose. Do I want somebody that is giving their all for my all, because real estate's your largest investment? Or do I want someone that's just providing a certain level of care, but really not in it necessarily for my best interest? It doesn't mean they don't care about you. That is not what I'm saying. Legally, you're not hiring them to do that. Right? Or somebody that's simply providing some signs and a package and a few ads, or do you want to do it on your own? Right. Those are really your 4 viable options.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is in this market we're in right now, which is a very good seller's market, in a good buyer's market where sellers are having a hard time selling it yourself is difficult. Right.
You can't really, it's difficult to accomplish.
You can do it, but it's difficult.
And you have access to such a small segment of the market. Financing is more difficult. Everything is just harder.
Right. So in a really hot market like we're in right now, someone may put their house up privately and sell it.
And think, wow, I did it without a professional.
Right. Or maybe even worse, they paid a professional to represent the buyer and they got beat up by a realtor, not physically beat up, but in the negotiations, because there was a realtor, a professional on the other side. And
that negotiates for a living.
Yeah. If you're selling a house, typically you might sell 2 or 3 houses a lifetime.
Or 7 or 8 or even 10. That would be a lot.
But you're definitely not going to become an expert.
Right. And we've helped over 2,380 families navigate the selling process. So hopefully we know something about that.
So my fear is that people will say they sold and look at how much I saved, right?
Yeah.
But did they really? Did they really save? Or did they leave a bunch of money on the table that they didn't get? And did they net less? Because really, is it about what you pay or is it about what you net at the end of the day when all the expenses are paid and you get your check from the lawyer? Is it about that amount of money? That's the question.
Right. So the question becomes a conversation of investment. Upfront investment, or is it an upfront liability? Right? Because it can be an upfront liability because you're not getting the best end result.
Possibly.
Yeah. Because often, have you not found when you're buying something, short of if you're buying a brand name, if all you're doing is buying for brand name, often the quality is not necessarily better. Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. And except if you're buying a solid product or a solid service, have you not found, Ken, and have you not found that most of the time you get what you pay for?
Absolutely. And
if you hire somebody that only gets paid if they produce a result you like, wow, are you not in the driver's seat? You are so in the driver's seat the whole time. Because the reality is, if you don't like the result I produce, you don't have to accept an offer.
Right.
That's the amazing thing.
So that's the how.
Yeah.
Now the who.
The who.
The seller gets to pick the who.
Who is going to help you to navigate this time in your life that is a big deal? Your house is usually your biggest single asset. So you get to choose how and who. And we're grateful that we get to educate you around the options and then really give you the power of choice. You get to choose powerfully. Powerfully this or powerfully that. And if you're thinking, well, all you've done is created more questions for me, well, pick up the phone or send us a quick email and we would be thrilled to answer your custom personal questions. So we're grateful to be your partners as we're moving forward together, because together we've got this.
Moving forward with the Decker